Hey everyone, welcome back. I pulled out some more of my scrap pieces that I found because my goal today is to work on making some clusters. I wanted to use up more of my scraps, so as I discussed in the previous video, I thought let's try making some clusters. So I have these turned out a lot bigger than I expected or planned, but I actually really like them. So I'm thinking I could use them as toppers for books or, just to add to a page. They're kind of big for pages, so it might take up the whole page. But I just pull out my scraps. Some of these I've had for many years. I wouldn't lie to tell you, probably 4 years and more. And, it's just like when you see ideas, for me anyway, when I see ideas, I get ideas. When I see, different videos, I get ideas and I'm like, oh, I want to try that. So I start collecting and then it's there collected. So, I would create and it would be there collected, just there created and not really used after. So even some of the papers that I dyed with, I usually use coffee, I barely use tea, and I usually use this thing, food coloring. I love the way food coloring dyes paper, and so I just have them, and I really need to start using them. I also want to make some journals, so that's another project that I have to work on ASAP. But yeah, so I decided, and you see this stitching on the paper, I did some of that too. So I coffee dyed it, and then I just Saturday and I just stitched a lot of the paper, so I have some. I've tried to use them up, but they don't always fit into what I'm doing. But I have them and they're there. So I need to use them up. I need to use my things and find creative uses for it and give them to people who I think will be happy to receive them and actually use them. You know what I mean? Instead of just having them there. So that is actually one of my goals. So this red piece is a gift that I got from an art swap that I did. And as I said in a previous video how much I love it. I really, really love it. So I finally used it. I used it to make one of these clusters. This is some tracing paper that I'm cutting out because I find the image in the back with these rolls, which are really cool. I just find it's really cool. I found it was too loud. So I thought I would try to tone it down by adding the tracing paper on top. And that helped. I liked it and I decided. So this is me testing it on the page to see how it would look. And you see how big it is because that's a regular book page. Let me see what size that is, but it's a regular book page, and that's why I said these turned out a lot bigger than I expected. It's really big. They're big. So I need to make some smaller ones so that I could use them on page corners, when I'm doing these journals that I haven't really started yet. But so the page is 6 by 8.5. See, that's a normal book size, right? And this star I had around for a couple of years too. I really liked it. I did some for a project, but we didn't. That was an extra one. So I kept it because I just find it cool and I'm trying to use it. And then this puzzle piece, I was trying to use it too, but yeah, it's just weird. So I took it out eventually. But my plan with these was to just start with a base and just layer on top. Try to get colors that kind of go together in my eye, because I know everybody's version, everybody's idea of color coordination and everything is different. But yeah, I wanted to blend different materials, different textures. Some of the papers had script on it, some of them didn't. One or two had, little drawings, a little map. I liked combining the different shapes. What I realized is that a lot of my pieces ended up being very rectangular. That wasn't planned, but I don't know. Now that I'm talking about it, I don't know if that's normal, if that's usually how people's clusters come out. But I also try to make sure all the layers were seen, and I also try to have each layer sticking out either to the top or to the side, because I like that look. I don't like when everything's even. I like when there's unevenness, there's, things are staggered. Even when I'm just doing my regular art, I don't like things just dead set in the center. So a lot of these, when I did them, they did not have focal points. One or two of them I did add it, but a lot of them didn't, either because it didn't feel right, or I don't really have focal points to say. And I know you could make your focal points, I know that, but you see, I love this piece of lace. I just love it. And again, where am I going to use it? I just have it there, and I keep it on my desk because I love it and I want to use it. It just, it's like, nope, not this one. Nope, not this project. Yeah, so I just keep putting it aside. I was digging around for more scraps and I found these circles, and I was like, hey, I remember cutting these out, and I forgot about them, of course. So they're there, and I wanted to use them. This is a tag that I actually cut out. So I got a tag from something I bought how much ever years ago, and I just traced it on my index cards, and then I dyed it, and I decided to use it because I just found that the shape was so cool to add to the layers. And I was like, I need to find the rest of them so I could use them in some more projects. I just found it was so cool. And it's just a reminder to me that you could use anything. You could use anything in your layers, and I guess it's just about size and color combo and, the different, because look at the doily, it has a different texture, different shapes. It's just about those things and just combining it to get the right combination. I've tried to add this piece of cloth because I wanted to do cloth as well, but it didn't feel right. So I finally decided on this bit. I've had this flower since I think 2021 or 2 or something. I did it for a challenge and I kept it, of course. And then again, I was like, Gina, why do you have these things here? You should use these things somehow. So instead of just leaving it there as part of the challenge and just having it there, I decided I would cut up the page. I think it was a 5 when we were doing the Ugly Art Club 5-minute challenge. I believe that flower was part of a page I did, and I cut it up. I was like, nah, Gina, use your stuff. So before I was keeping it as part of the challenge and storing it as such, but it doesn't make sense to me. Just, I have it, I should use it. And the thing is, every time I see it, I'm like, hey, I really like this and I should make some more, because it could be useful in so many other ways, so many other places. So it's inspiring. So it's good that I could see it come out ever so often to inspire me. This one was very interesting. So these circles came from papers that I smushed together. I put the paint on, and then I put the paper together, smush the paint, and then pull it apart. And I had actually still have papers from that, because that was very therapeutic for me. And this that I just cut, that's a piece of brown paper. I realized with brown paper that there are different thicknesses of it, different types, because some of them have this shiny part on the other side, and some of them are just nice and very thick and rough, and I just love brown paper. Brown paper is so awesome. So this piece that I cut here it's a nice thick piece, and there's actually no shine on any side. It's just nice and It has a nice texture. It's not smooth on both sides, which I love. And I thought bringing in this shine with the black and gold, I thought that would be cool to add on this piece. This circle that I have with the stamped flower, I made those circles, I have more like it, different sizes. I made those circles a while ago to use, and then I didn't use them, so I keep coming across them when I'm looking for things, so I thought maybe I could actually use it this time. So I did. And it's just, I guess I'm going through a phase of, Gina, just use your stuff. Stop hoarding it. Stop leaving it for another time. Stop putting it away for another time. Just use your stuff, Gina, and when you out, make more. So it's either that or just dump it. Because when I use it, I want to give it away or maybe even try to sell it. But, you know, I want to use this stuff. I don't know if some of you all have that issue where you have things and you make things and then it stays there and then what? You know? So and then you end up with a lot of things. Sometimes it's not even things that you're buying, because a lot of the things I have is not that I bought them, because honestly I can't afford to buy the things that I want, but it's a lot of things that I've collected, because people get rid of so many things that we, us creatives, can use, and I collect with really good intentions of using and doing so many things with it, but lack of time, and then another idea would come along and all these different things. It's just, you know, so I have things that I've collected and I just keep collecting, and so I have decided that I will stop collecting for a time and I will use up things or dump or give away. Or, right, so the things that I use I'll try to sell, make and sell maybe, but you know, it will either fall in one of those or 2 or 3 of those categories altogether. So yeah. This is my little container that I've been talking about. Every time I think I'm going to empty it, it just gets fuller, because when I use things from it, but I dig up somewhere else, I see something that's small enough that could go in the container, so I put it in. So it's currently full again. It's full. It's full! Oh my gosh! And my intention when I started this video, would you believe, was to empty the container as much as I could by making small clusters, but then these gigantic pieces were the result. See, these are some more examples of my small circles where I stuck paper onto a file folder and then I inked around it. I didn't ink. I don't have the ink. I have, what do I use? I use shoe polish actually, and I use paint. But I believe this one with the circles, these circles are shoe polish. And then I have small, very small stamps, which I cannot find at the moment and I've been looking for. I stamped those on them, just, you know, as a little interest point. So yeah, I think I printed this butterfly to carve it out as a stencil, but then I found it was too intricate and then I didn't know exactly where to cut, so I just left it. So now I decided that I will finally use it because it's been around for quite some time and I'm just trying to get it. I really actually, I mean, they're kind of scrappy, but I like scrappy. I know not everybody likes scrappy, and I actually really like these clusters, and they're actually making me feel to make some more. I really do like these clusters. So you see how long this video is. It's about half an hour, almost. So I actually hope that you pull out some of your scraps as well. You know, it could be cloth, and you are also creating, or it's inspiring you to use your scraps in some other way. I don't know. Maybe you want to use them in doing a page, a journal page, or something else. But I really hope that this is inspiring you to do some art. Here again, I have my shiny piece of brown paper. It's kind of like card, but it's more flexible. It's a strange material. And I thought how cool it would be, because we have the yellow piece there, so let's add the brown, which would tie in, and let's just add some shine. I was like, yeah, why not? And then I have this piece in the background with where I did the jelly plate. Yeah, I really like that. I'm sorry that it got covered up so much, but I really do like that jelly plate thing that I did. This thing with the circles. What do you call it? The jelly plate. When you, oh my goodness, I can't remember like how we phrase it. But when you use the jelly plate to make the pretz. So these gold circle things, when you have balloons with the gold circle things in them, that's what this is. So of course, people just dump them, but I keep them. And I decided to just take a piece of tape to pick them up, because they're super thin and they're hard to pick up. So I just took a piece of tape and I picked them up, and while I was picking them up, I was like, hey, I could actually use this like in my art. So I did. And so this is my attempt here to use it. I did use it in the traveling journal, but I don't think I taped it. So then next time I get it, you'll see it when I'm flipping through to find, where we're at. Then that piece with the holes that I just moved out of the way, that was actually an index card that I just punched holes in with a single hole punch. So cool. And this was dyed with, so I found this side, I saw that it was stained too, and I was thinking maybe I could use it, but no, it didn't really tie in with the rest of them. And I'm moving everything up because I want it to fit like on the edge of a page. So that's why I'm moving everything up, and I don't want to have to cut off any part of it. So even though I don't really have a plan to say, well, okay, I'm going with, I didn't have a color scheme or anything like that when I started this. My aim was just to use up my scraps, and I didn't even like have a number that I wanted to do. Like, okay, I'll try and do 5 or 10. I didn't even have that. I just like, okay, this is the amount of time I have. I have other things to do. Let me see what I could get done, how fast I could get this done. But honestly, this is also very therapeutic, and I enjoyed the process a lot. Like, I didn't want to stop, but I had to talk to myself and say, okay, Gina, you have other things to do. You need to stop now, which is cool, right? So that for me is a good thing and a not so good thing. Here I'm ripping the paper because I don't want to cut straight through the paper and the thread. I want it to still look ripped. So I ripped the paper, and then when I reached the thread, that's when I cut the thread with the scissors. But I'm really liking this piece as well. I really, really like this piece. I don't know if it's the colors, I don't know if it's the size of it, but I really like this piece. And I like this circle crosshatch thing here, but it just doesn't fit well with anything that I have. So I guess it will use somewhere else. And I forgot what I was saying before. Okay, so I went back and I found where I stopped off, and I know what I was saying before now. What I was saying is, it's a good thing for me when I'm creating so much and it's going so well that I don't want to stop. But it's also not good because when I want to create, I think that I don't have enough time. So I know there are many discussions and many people say, if you have 5 minutes, if you have 2 minutes, if you have 10 minutes, you can go and get something done. That is very true. However, I don't know if it's because of my personality or where I am at now, but when I think about doing that, it kind of frustrates me because I want more time. I want more time to create. I want more time to sit and just get into it, because for me it's about release and relax and enjoyment and it's journaling, it's all of that. And 5 minutes or 10 minutes is not enough. I would get frustrated if I just have to do that alone and then bust out, you know. So it's good when I'm sitting and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good, and I have to stop now, I have things to do, but okay, one more piece, so 5 more minutes. But when I want to come and sit and do art, and all I have is half an hour, I know it sounds like a lot, but when I have half an hour, the problem is it takes me some time to settle in. I don't just come and start because I don't come and I do everything. I don't do the same thing every day. I don't do watercolors every day or acrylic every day, or sometimes I feel like doing this, I would do collage. Sometimes I would just want to paint. Sometimes I would want to do both. Sometimes I would want to work with envelopes. So therefore, I need to get my materials. I need to get my tools. And that takes time. So the 10 minutes that I would have, quote unquote, to sit and create, I would use that time to gather my stuff. So when I have my stuff and I want to sit and just get into it, it's time for me to get up and run. And it's frustrating. So a lot of the times I end up not doing anything. I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't have enough time. I'm not going to be able to. So that's what happens. That's what happens to me sometimes. And then, yeah, because it's a battle. I want to do art, but I have this to do. I have to wash the wares, or I have to wash clothes, to do other types of creating, or I have to. So it's usually a battle, but I'm really working on winning all of them. And do you know, every time I come to sit down to do a voiceover, the place would be really quiet hours before, like still and peaceful and amazing. And then when I sit down at the table, the dog starts barking or dragging his bowl around, or somebody decides they want to cut their grass. I don't know, it's like they know when I'm sitting, they could see me, and they're like, okay, she start, let's do this, and they'll just make a sudden noise. I don't know, it's so interesting. It's so weird. Anyway, so the base of this that I'm using, I actually found again when I was looking for stuff. So it's just pieces of cardstock that I ripped and I sewed around. And I remember, even though this was years ago, when I did it, I was thinking, Gina, why are you sewing around these pieces? Because you're going to cover it up anyway to make it into some little type of journaling tag or something. But I still did a couple of them. I still continued sewing. So I remember at that time I was sewing. So when I'm sewing, I like to do a batch, because I don't like to come and sit by the machine every minute, because I have to pull it out, set it up, get it threaded, the correct threading, etc. I don't like to do that every minute. My sewing machine isn't sitting there waiting for me to just go by it and press. And it's kind of, I don't know, I just made them and I kept them. And I'm glad I did, because I'm using it now and I actually like it as a base. It's so cool. My intention wasn't to use it like this. I thought I was going to collage over it, as in glue it down. I mean, like cover the whole thing, not this way. But I like it. I'm like, hey, I should make some more. Yeah, you see? So sometimes we do things as well, and we don't know when we're going to use it or how we're going to use it. So yes, we want to use things and get rid of things, but at the same time, sometimes it's good to keep certain things that we've made, because we just never know when it's going to come in handy for a project. And it might be that perfect piece that you need. So, and that is the problem we have. We keep things because of that reason. Oh, I might use this because it might be the perfect piece that I need. So I guess it's just trying to find a balance. So here I'm just going through my pieces now. I pulled out the page so we could see how it looks on a page. And this is when I realized how gigantic they were. I love this one. Love it. This one is cool too. I like the colors. I like the neutrality of it. Whew, they're falling out of my hand. I like the ones with the circles too. This is so cool. And I'm thinking I like the size of this one. So while I was doing this and I was putting it against the page, I was thinking they could be used as little tuck spots. They could be used as a whole page topper, like maybe as a journal topper. See, you could use as a tuck. I like this one too. It's kind of big, but not so big at the same time. I really like this one. So some of them I really, really like a lot. So cool. I like this one too. It's very different. And it made me feel to make more. Doing this and looking at them. And that plain green piece, I feel like I want to do some Asamic writing on it. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I could leave it plain to use as a label for something later on. To add a label onto it. I don't know. I love that one. So yeah, I didn't really think too much while doing this. I was just looking at colors and, oh, this might look good with this, and in that sense. So I'm pulling out my book here to see if I could finish this signature, because I believe I have 3 more to go. I really like this one with the feather. So with that feather, I was looking for something and I saw the feather and I was like, hey, maybe I could use it. And I did. Love this one. Yeah, I'm still trying to see if I could use any of them on this book to complete my signature, but none of them felt right, so I didn't use them. But I'm still going through them, still trying to see. This one could probably work. Maybe. Maybe I could probably paint the page black and then put one of them on it. Maybe that could work. This one is too small. Those are too small. I actually like that there. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I would love your comments and your feedback.